Welcome to another episode of Will's VG Addiction. I want to go through a couple of weeks of pickups before I start trading some of this stuff off and sticking it on the shelf. I got a number of this stuff kind of waiting in line to be traded or sold off in the next day or two, so I wanted to make sure I actually put a video out because there's a pretty significant amount of stuff. So let me go ahead and get right into it. A couple weeks ago I picked up two Nintendo systems. Not sure how many games off the top of my head, but 4 controllers, an orange zapper, all the hookups, blah blah blah. So that would be these. I've cleaned these up quite a bit. These buttons are still pretty yellow, but I put a new pin connector in there in both of them because they were completely trashed. It wouldn't catch at all. Games wouldn't play, blah blah blah. I kind of expected that. Usually when I buy NESs, that tends to be the problem. But I got a pretty decent stack of games with that. The whole lot was 80 bucks. Again, I'm probably going to massacre this this title, but it's a Sherazade, something like that. Didn't have this one. Rampart, didn't have that one. Road Blasters, and you'll see the label is a little damaged there, but that's cool. Didn't have that one. And I am going for a full NES set, and I think I have somewhere around 410 games now. So those were definitely big incentives to pick up this lot. The rest of the games are kind of Pinball, 1942, and I had all these, so didn't really care too much for them. Pipe Dream, Mad Max. And the reason I paid 80 bucks for this lot was because it had Contra in it, and this is now a $30 game, even though it's relatively common. So I felt like that was a good deal with all those games included. Alright, so as far as the local stuff, that is pretty much all I've gotten. I did take a trip out to California over Thanksgiving weekend. Hit up the thrift stores out there, which are always good. So let me go ahead and get into those. Now I want to explain that I left most of the price tags on these, but when I went out, it was Black Friday, so most of these were discounted in some sort of way. Now I'll start out with the PS1 games that I got. Long box version of Mortal Kombat 3, did not have that. Definitely excited and happy to have that because I've been looking for that for a while. One of my favorite games on the original PlayStation, Road Rash. This one unfortunately is missing the manual, but it's still really nice to have the long box version of that. And ESPN2 Extreme Games, a Road Rash-esque sort of game, which I always enjoyed. So nice to have that. I think I'm 99% sure I do have that, but in a smaller case. I'm not going to take anything that's in the case already. I'm not going to go ahead and take out, but this is a copy of Dr. Mario for the Game Boy, and this was $3 in a little protective case. Pretty cool. Had that already. Star Wars for the 32X. Surprisingly, I did not have this. I actually thought I did, but when I looked in my database, I realized I didn't, and this is one of the games that I did have as a kid. My father had a 32X, and this, I believe, was the first game that he got for it. Not a great game by any means, and that one was actually a sticker price at $6, but you know, that's about what it's worth, and I don't necessarily have a problem paying that. At least I don't have to deal with shipping and all that nonsense. So anyway, got a couple of N64 games, well, a few actually, in these little handy Nintendo 64 protective cases with the manuals. The first one is Pokemon Snap, and I just want to kind of open this up and show you guys. Everything's in really good condition. This one was $5, and I will be trading that one away actually. Turok, which is not one of my favorite games. I didn't really like any of the first-person shooter type games on N64, so I'll be getting rid of that one. MRC Multi-Racing Championship racing game. Yeah, that was $3, so whatever. And Yoshi's Story, the only one that I'm actually keeping, and this will be a condition upgrade, and it's also really nice to have the manual on that one. So, continuing on, picked up some NES games, picked up a copy of Soccer, which I didn't have, surprisingly. And like I said, some of these were discounted for Black Friday, so they're not all as the price tag lists. Barbie, a game everybody should own, and that is sarcasm. Now, I also picked up this copy of Monopoly for the NES as a box copy. I already had the game complete, but this one is definitely a condition upgrade for me. This is the old one, so I'll be keeping the new one, getting rid of the old one. Some of these were actually priced a little bit higher than I'd like to pay at a thrift store. I mean, it's nothing like the local thrift stores here in Albuquerque, where everything's priced basically at eBay or higher. Some of these are, some of these aren't. One of the gems that I did pick up, in my opinion anyway, is a copy of Silent Hill 3 for $3. And this has a soundtrack disc, the manual, and all that good stuff. It's all complete. This one is just something I kind of picked up because it looked interesting. I think I'm pronouncing this right when I say Kia, the Dark Lineage. This is a game I don't know anything about, didn't know anything about. But like I said, just looking at it, it looked pretty cool. A game I've had on my list for a long time, looking for Alien Hominid. Definitely an interesting looking game. I haven't played this yet. I will try to get that in the system at some point this weekend, hopefully. Time Crisis 2. Now I believe, well, I'm sure I have this, but I think I'm missing the manual, and this one is complete. So this is, I believe, a condition upgrade for me. I haven't checked yet. So from there, that's all the thrift store stuff that I got. Actually, I did get some odds and ends. I got a Super Nintendo, GameCube AV cable, no big deal. Whoops. A Wii AV cable. This was $2, so you never know when you're gonna need an extra one of those. And then these generic power cords. These were $1 each. I can use these with Saturn or Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, I believe. So along my normal route, my old stomping grounds in California, I would hit the thrift stores first, and then I would hit a pawn shop in the same general vicinity of where the thrift stores are, and then I go to the swap meet. So what I got at the pawn shop out there, I got a copy of DuckTales Remastered for the PlayStation 3, and I already had this. I bought this on Steam, but I wanted to have a physical copy, and this is actually the physical copy, which seems to be a little bit harder to come by as far as I'm concerned. Dead Space 3, the limited edition. I don't know what this actually adds to the game. I do have Dead Space 2. I haven't played it yet. I've had that for a while, and I just really haven't had a chance to play it yet. So nice to have Dead Space 3. I don't really know what the limited edition adds to the game, but I guess we'll find out. Those two games were $10 each. So they also had Xbox and PS2 games for $1, which is always awesome. So I picked up a few. Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, and these are all complete. I had this. I've had that since it came out. One of my favorite games on the Xbox. But for $1, I can't pass that up. Now, I wound up actually having this. I didn't check my database at the time, but I got a copy of Gun, and for $1, I don't mind having an extra copy around for trades or whatever. Copy of Evil Dead, a fistful. Can't talk today. A copy of Evil Dead, a fistful of Boomstick, and Gladius, which I was actually really surprised I didn't have, because this is one of those games that I remember wanting to play on the Xbox, and I thought I had picked it up at some point, but I didn't. So there's that. I did hit another thrift store. I'm sorry, I left this out, but I also got an Atari 7800 system, and you can see the price is still on there for $6. There was no controllers, but it did come with the power cord and the RF cable. Didn't come with the RF box though, but that's not a big deal. This one is in significantly better condition than the system I have, and I would go pull it out, but it's just kind of too far away and buried under some stuff. But I actually have two of these, and this one is definitely in better condition than both. It works perfectly. I actually walked by it. It was in the window of a thrift store, and I walked by it like twice before it actually caught my eye. And for $6, there was no way that I was just going to leave it there. But the thrift store that I go to out there that had this doesn't usually have a lot of game stuff. They usually have odds and ends like cords, power cords, and AV cords and stuff. But it's definitely a good one to go to when they do have gaming stuff, because they mark it down really, really cheap. So I love that place for that. From there, I went to the swap meet. I found an N64 system. It was, I believe, just the console and the power cord, and the guy wanted $30 for it. So I definitely walked away from that. It was filthy as hell. Like I said, no controllers, no games, no nothing with it. He had a PlayStation 2 and a couple of Nintendo DS's. When he hit me with that $30 price tag for the N64, I just walked away. I didn't even ask him about the rest of the stuff. There was another guy that had a whole bunch of random junk. And I bought an Atari from him like years ago. And I bought it for 20 bucks, and it came in this little neat carrying case. Had a bunch of games and a bunch of manuals in it. Like I said, 20 bucks. So, you know, that was pretty cool. I found another Atari, paddles, controllers, a bunch of common games. I think there was 1 or 2 uncommon games, nothing really valuable. But I asked him how much, and he said 40 bucks. And pretty much had to walk away from that. You know, there's no way I'm paying 40 bucks for an Atari 2600. Unless it had some really rare game with it or something like that. But, you know, I left it. This was at, you know, 10:30, 11 o'clock in the afternoon. So I know other people had walked by it before me. So, other than that, they didn't really have much of anything gaming related. You know, the typical resellers there with the high prices and all that. But I did manage to scoop a couple of things. There was this one guy, he was selling records and CDs and all that stuff, and he had them all in these cardboard boxes. So I dug through some of that stuff a little bit, and I walked out with Super Sprint for the NES and Ultimate Spider-Man, which is in really good condition, and it's complete. $6 for both. So that was cool. And the only online shopping thing that I bought, I got this boxed copy of Metroid for the NES from shopgoodwill.com, which is a site that I loathe. I hate them. But every once in a while you can catch a deal, and I don't remember how much this was. It's like 16 bucks, something like that. Minus, you know, not including shipping and whatnot. But I didn't have the original version. I had the one with the yellow label, so I wanted to get this one. And it was kind of nice to find it boxed, so it was still cheaper than eBay even with the shipping, so I went ahead and picked that up. Oh, one more thing. 2 more things. Now at the shop that I bought the 2600 at, I also got a PlayStation 2 memory card for 90 cents. And then locally, I think it was like a day or 2 before I left for California, I got this copy of Resident Evil for the GameCube. It's not in the greatest condition as far as the box is concerned. This looked good. I think this was a Facebook deal, if I recall. And I remember asking the guy specifically if he had the manual for this. He wanted 20 bucks for it. I said 10, and we met in the middle at 15. There's no manual in here, so I was really, really irritated with that. But I had driven a little bit after work to get it, and I just wanted to get it and go home. So I gave him the 15 bucks for it, which was probably a little bit of a mistake. More or less, that was going to be a trade for a friend, but once he found out that there was no manual, the deal was dead. So that's just an extra copy I have laying around now. Now, when I was out in California, I actually I spoke to my ex-girlfriend, who I absolutely loved to death. You know, I told her, you know, what I was doing as far as the collecting and all that stuff, and she had put the idea in my head that I should open up a store, which was something I had thought about years ago. Back in like 2004 was the first time I ever even considered it. But then, you know, thinking about the costs and the wholesale licenses and all the other bullshit, you know, that goes into actually opening a store of some sort, whether it's an online store, a brick and mortar store, or whatever. I just felt like it was too much effort, too much work, too much of a time investment, especially when I had other things going on, full-time job, school at the time. Now, you know, my job is very, very time consuming. So opening a business is not exactly something that's at the forefront of my concentration right now, but it's something that I'm looking into again because, you know, she brought up some good points. The stuff that I sell now, I sell fairly cheap. You know, I try to give people good deals and all that, but I could be getting a lot more. I have a couple buddies that, you know, buy and sell and all that stuff too. My buddy Mike, he's actually very persistent as far as tracking down games, and his sales figures, he sells on Amazon, and his sales figures are ridiculous. So, and I mean, I've seen what he pulls in an average month selling. So it's something that I'm thinking about now, and then my eyes were really open, quite honestly, when I got those Smash Brothers last week, or the week before last, and I sold those in pretty much a day, and I know I'm not going to get, you know, wholesale games for 10 bucks, but man, I cleaned up on that deal. I really did. So it's something I'm considering now. So I don't know why I'm talking about that right now, but I am. So that's it. Like I said, 2 weeks full of pickups. I just wanted to go ahead and get it out there and get another video up because I don't do these videos very often. Right now, time is kind of an obstacle as far as doing videos, and I still, you know, I want to do more creative stuff with these, and I just haven't had the time. You know, editing takes so long, or it doesn't really take long, but I just don't have the time to put in to do it. So, you know, it's very sporadic when I actually get an opportunity to do this kind of stuff. So that's it for the November pickups. Hopefully I'll have some good stuff in December. The thrift stores out here in Albuquerque are totally dead, so I'm more or less relying on Facebook and Craigslist deals, which are shit. Now I was actually supposed to go pick up an NES lot with a boxed Chippendales Rescue Rangers 2, and I already made the deal. The guy wanted $150 for it. I told him I'd give him $170 if he could hold it for me for a day while I was driving back to California. He agreed. We were supposed to meet up. He texted me like an hour before we were supposed to meet up, and he said, "Oh, okay. Well, I realized that Chippendales Rescue Rangers 2 was a much more valuable game than I thought. So if you don't mind, I'm going to leave that out, and you can still get everything else for $170." And there was like a box Mario 2, box Mario 3, and everything else was shit. You know, it's probably like a $70, $80 lot at the most. I mean, that's high. So, you know, I wasn't too happy with that. And, you know, I tried to work something out where I would just buy Rescue Rangers 2 from him. And we agreed again on $100, which was something I was comfortable paying for it. I'd actually paid a little bit more for a box copy, but he decided that he wasn't gonna speak to me anymore after I tried to follow up on that. And then I realized that he had posted it on Craigslist for $250, which he's not gonna get locally. There's just no way. So good luck to him with that. But, you know, that really sucks. I really missed out on a very, very good, possible good deal with that. But Craigslist is Craigslist, you know. People are people. So that's all that's going on. I got nothing else coming in. No other prospective deals, none of that blah, blah, blah bullshit. So thank you for watching. Hopefully this wasn't too boring and too much. There wasn't too much droning. You know, I tend to do that when I talk. So anyway, peace out. See you in the next couple weeks, I hope. Later.